Yeah. So Chris, as a follow-up to that, I'm sure that for years you've had calls where a company will call you and say to you, Chris, we actually want that, but we want it at half the price.
Right.
And I'm imagining that a lot of people who are listening right now, whether they're entrepreneurs, whether they have a side hustle, whether they do a bit of design work here and there, they've had that call as well, where a client calls, they want this client, they're excited by it. Like, and I want you to tell us the difference between the first time a Fortune 500 company reached out and now when you're established, because that obviously changes as well. Walk us through, how do you negotiate or how do you deal with you really wanting to work with this client, but they're like, we want 50% off. Like that's our budget. That's our max.
Yeah, well, it's accepting that working with them at half price is a bad idea. And it's not good for the health of the business long term. And then as soon as we accepted that, then realizing that the less time we spent with people that want half price, they're actually obstructing the people that want to pay full price. You know, a good friend of mine, a phrase that we use, Joe Polish, he's got a phrase, there are half clients and there are elf clients. Half is hard, annoying, lame, and frustrating. Elf is easily lucrative and fun. So in our early days, especially
say those two again. Those are brilliant.
Hard, annoying, lame, and frustrating. Halves.
Yeah. And then elves.
Elves, easy, lucrative, and fun.
I love that.
And Joe says, don't work with the halves, work with the elves. And I heard this, and so if you're in the early days, if you're working for me, you figure that I want you to make every deal. And I get with my sales team and I say, all right, so the halves are going to have predictable behavior. Once we start looking for it, it's going to jump out at us. And we'll be able to see it in the first half hour of the conversation. Now they're very good at this. And that, of course, was the truth. And then I said, we're going to walk away politely from them early on. I don't want you wasting a lot of time. So the young lady that's running my sales team at the time, and, comment on gender, if I may. We find that women pick this style of negotiation up faster than men. At the top level of performance, we see no difference. It's gender agnostic. I believe that the women are conditioned at an early age to be aware of soft skills, and they have a little bit of a head start. And that's why they have a tendency to pick it up faster than men. So a woman running the team, she wants to make every deal. So before she starts walking away from the halves, she starts pulling data. You know, you want your sales team to start looking for data. How long is it going to take to make the deal? How long is it going to take to implement the deal? What's our profitability consequently? She gets back to me a couple of weeks later. And she says, here's what we found. Number one, it takes us 2 to 5 times the amount of time from the initial conversation to the end of performance with a half. 2 to 5 times as much time. So let's say it only takes twice as long. That means we've automatically taken a 50% cut in pay, maybe on top of the discount they wanted, on top of everything else. She said then consequently, it doesn't really matter whether or not we want to do business with them again. They don't want to do business with us again.
Yeah.
So they don't repeat. So these people that are demanding discounts, you're taking a 50% cut in pay at least, and the business is not going to repeat. So you're taking a discount theoretically for a long-term relationship, and you're not getting it. They're not appreciative of the fact that they got a discount. They want to take advantage of everybody. They're going to look for somebody else to victimize after they get done with you. And they are standing in the way of the people that want to do business with us. It's very dark in the early days of an entrepreneur. The concept of walking away from customers is horrifying. I got to make the rent. I got bills now. You want me to walk away from these people? Well, it's going to take you twice as long to get paid. So they're not going to help you pay the rent now. And they're going to be slow payers even if you agree on a deal. Then afterwards, getting money out of them, you're not in a loan business.
Yeah.
So there's all these problems. And then as soon as we stopped dealing with the haves, we found that the elves started showing up. You know, there's this invisible line of people waiting to do business with you. And the people that are going to take up the most time in a line stop the people that take the least amount of time. That's a scary thought for any budding entrepreneur to accept. And it's a leap of faith. And if you start looking around, you'll see entrepreneur after entrepreneur experiencing it kind of as a law of the entrepreneurial universe.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's such great advice, and it's so refreshing to hear that, because I think everyone feels that way, where they're just like, I have to do this. This is going to be our big winner. It's going to be our big ticket, but it always ends up going the opposite way when they're being a half. And it's such great advice, because it could save you so much stress, save you so much pressure, and you're going to feel like you did a great job, but you only got paid half. You might feel bitter. You're now resentful. They didn't renew. It turns into a whole bigger emotional thing as well.
It was blood money.
Yeah, when it doesn't.